Welcome back to Boosted Gaming, bringing another Division 2 video. So today we're going to be looking at my explosive resistance raid build for boss number 4. So varies a little differently than my DPS build that I typically run at the beginning of the raid. We swapped around a few pieces, a couple of talents. It's still an unbreakable build because I like having that extra life, that extra saving grace, if you will, just in case you're out sticking your butt out there and you're not taking cover like you probably should be. But anyway, let's get down into it. So as you can see, we still have the Demolitionist, primarily because of the talent where you can actually ignore an explosion once every, I believe it's 60 seconds. So if a grenade drops on you, you get that one-time thing, and then you have a 60-second cooldown before you're able to do that again. As you can see here, we're still running with our Eagle Bearer. Typical gun that I always use in the raid for any DPS build. Good rate of fire, good damage. Secondary I'm running is my classic M1A with Lucky Shot. Almost max rolled on a few things. I'm just a couple percentages shy, I believe, of critical hit damage. It is what it is, but not too bad. Pistol I really never focus on because I hardly ever use that. So getting into the actual gear pieces, you'll see that I have a Providence mask here. It's got maxed out weapon damage. You can see I rolled explosive resistance into it. And it's also got almost maxed out critical hit damage with a critical hit damage mod on it. So this is one of 3 pieces of Providence that we're running. Because as you know, on the other build I run my Coyote mask, right? But I'm not running the Coyote this time. I'm just running Providence because of the 3-piece bonus. Alright, so we want to keep our damage up at the same time, try to build into explosive resistance. So for our chest, you can see we're running a Walker Harris with the Unbreakable. This right here is pretty god rolled. It's actually the same chest I believe I use on my other DPS build as well, so I'm not going to roll any kind of explosive resistance into this. However, if I could get another chest piece that had these same rolls, I would definitely roll out maybe a critical hit chance for some explosive resistance just to bump me up another tier. But as you can see, this one's got 50% weapon damage, a 6% critical hit chance attribute, and I've maxed out the critical hit damage at 12%. And it also does an offensive mod, which currently isn't equipped, but we can obviously drop whatever we want in there. Moving on to the holster, it's another Providence piece. We have 15% weapon damage. You can see we rolled on explosive resistance onto this build as well right here for this holster. And you can see that we have a critical hit chance attribute as well that's nearly maxed out. For the bag, we changed it up a little bit. So I typically run Vigilance on my bags for any kind of DPS builds. However, for this raid, and due to the proximity, you can see that with this talent I went with Companion. So the backpack came with Companion, which was perfectly fine for me because the other rolls were good. But Companion gives you additional damage of 15% whenever you're within 5 meters of an ally or a skill, which in this raid you're almost always within 5 meters of another teammate or one of their skills. So you should always be having that 15% available. Now, the difference with Vigilance is you get 25% with Vigilance, but as soon as you take any kind of damage, you're automatically losing that Vigilance. So you got to wait for yourself to not be taking any kind of damage, where in this raid, you're taking damage almost all the time. So if you're taking any kind of damage, you're not proccing Vigilance as much. Now, I know that you can run a shield and you can have that shield proc Vigilance more often, because the shield will be taking the damage, not you yourself. But I think Companion is a very good talent to be running in this raid, primarily because, like I said, you're always within a teammate, you're always within one of their skills, so you'll always have a 15% damage boost to your overall output damage. Weapon damage on this piece you can see is 14.1. We also rolled explosive resistance into this. We also have headshot damage in this, and obviously a critical hit damage mod. And because it is a Fenris piece, we also get 10% assault rifle damage, which is obviously great for your Eagle Bearer or any other AR that you're running. Moving on to our gloves, we have another Providence piece. Maxed out weapon damage, decent roll on headshot damage, and you can see that we swapped over to explosive resistance on these gloves as well. And then our final piece here is going to be our Grupo knee pads, where you can see we have maxed out weapon damage. We have really good critical hit damage on there, 12% that we rolled. And then we also have some hazard protection. Would much rather have been able to roll some kind of explosive resistance on this. I could probably just pull off the actual critical hit damage, but I'm trying to keep up our damage while giving us that buffer with explosive resistance. So you can see here that we actually have 40% of explosive resistance on the pieces, right? So that'll give you 40 there. If I had the knees, that would give us 50. Plus, with our watch, we have another 10 because the watch is maxed out. So we have 10% from the watch. So we have a total of 50% explosive resistance on this build, which isn't bad. But when you couple that with the specialization, yeah, you're going to be getting that every 60 seconds, but at least 50% is better than nothing. I can tell you that this build will absorb a hit and will keep on going, right? And if you wanted to, like I said, you could get rid of the critical hit damage here of 12%, drop in another 10% explosive resistance, and make yourself that much more survivable. You give yourself that much more chance to continue fighting, right? But we wanted to keep as much damage built into this as we could. So if we take a look at this and we were to pull that out, we would lose 12% off our 148, which wouldn't be bad. Because, like I said, we're still gaining survivability. But right now we're at 118% headshot, 148% critical hit, and we're at 41% or 42% critical hit chance. Now, typically people are running a Coyote Mask at least one, so we should be proccing this a little bit higher whenever they're hitting their shots. We also do 21% health damage, primarily from the Eagle Bear itself. And like I said, you can easily roll off that critical hit damage. I mean, obviously I like it to be as high as it can be so I can knock people down quick. But sometimes you need more survivability. It all depends on your playstyle. So as you can see here, we have explosive resistance, right? So you can see the 4-piece item on the right, plus Keener's Watch gives you your total of 50%. Like I said, 50% is not bad. It will keep you alive. It gives you that additional buffer and comfort level for the final boss, especially when you couple that with the fact that I'm running an unbreakable chest. I get that extra life, plus the 50%, plus I'm getting the one-time bonus from the actual grenade launcher talent from Demolitionist, where you can essentially absorb, one hit every 60 seconds. So this build here will keep you alive. As you can see, I do couple it with a striker drone. A bunch of you guys know striker drones are pretty OP right now. The enemies tend to focus them, especially heavies, bosses. You just got to be careful with the striker drone on the final boss, because you obviously don't want this thing firing at her the whole time, because all that's going to do is knock down her armor. Next thing you know, she's going to be launching more mortars at you, dropping more rockets on you, and your day just gets ugly, right? But anyway, I do the striker drone primarily because of the additional damage it gives you, and the fact that the enemies will not focus me; they focus the drone. And then obviously I run with my Revive Hive, just so if I go down, I can pick myself back up. Granted, you only get one charge now since the update, but you know what? I'd rather be able to pick myself up if my Unbreakable is already procced, if all that stuff's already kind of done. So that's the build, guys. Like I said, this is great for Boss 4. Just a fun build to play with, and I think you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, you can run this through the entire raid with the explosive resistance and still do a ton of damage. You don't really need a whole lot of hazard, we found out. So any high DPS build, a lot of people are running Glass Cannon now. When you get more comfortable, Glass Cannon is an awesome talent, just because of the amount of damage you output. And I will have a build video for that coming up shortly as well. But until then, guys, thank you for joining me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Share this channel with your friends, especially if you like the content. We've already hit 100 subscribers. We're actually over because of you guys. I think we're at 103. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for stopping by, guys. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.